Hey guys, I know it's been a while. It's been a really crazy year for me, but I'm back. And I'm going to be pumping out as much content as I possibly can. But I need your help. Ever since I started posting shorts, the algorithm started reducing my reach on my long-form content. So I'm going to make a second shorts channel called Dr. Han's Shorts. I'll link it in the description so you can follow. But any engagement, comments, likes, shares, it's all going to be able to help to get my reach back from what the algorithm did to me. Thanks again. Let's get into the stories. On Christmas Eve, 1945, 5 children from the big Sodder family went missing and were never seen again. Their family home in Fayetteville, West Virginia, was destroyed by fire, and while parents George and Jenny and 4 of their children escaped, 5 of their children were never found. Maurice, 4 years old, Martha, 12 years old, Louis, 9 years old, Jenny, 8 years old, and Betty, 5 years old, were among them. When George Sodder attempted to rescue his children, a number of unexplained issues developed, including a missing ladder, windows that could not open, and no operator at the fire station working that night. The cause of the fire and what happened to the Sodder children are unknown today, but according to numerous true crime podcasts, including Case File True Crime, a plausible motive could be George's criticism of the Italian fascist leader, Benito Mussolini. George was an Italian immigrant, and his opposition made him a vulnerable target for the Sicilian mafia. George demolished the house before it could be determined if his children were dead or missing. According to Smithsonian, the surviving Sodder family believed for the remainder of their lives that their relatives had survived the fire. In the 1950s, a billboard depicting the children was constructed, and a reward was given for information. It stood until Jenny Sodder died in 1989. It was December 23rd, 1993. Paul Logan was working as a Chinese food delivery driver in Black Hill County, Durham, England, and he was summoned to deliver an order to Blue House Farm. Logan was told by the homeowners that no meal order had been placed when he got at the property, so he returned to his car. When the owners of the Blue House Farm observed his white Peugeot automobile waiting at the end of the lane to their home later that evening, they raised the alarm. When police came, they conducted a search and discovered Logan's body. He had been beaten to death. His family is still looking for answers today. Northumbria police examined the investigation in 2021. And Detective Superintendent Ian Sharp told the British news outlet Chronicle Live that his team questioned 2,271 people, took 903 statements, and pursued 1,796 lines of inquiry. I'm keeping an open mind about why Paul was killed, Sharp told reporters. This murder was so well planned and well executed that it is extremely unlikely the killer was acting alone. It is likely that at least 2 people, if not more, were involved. It was Christmas Day of 1996 when Jean-Bonnet Ramsey, a 6-year-old beauty queen, was discovered dead in her family's home in Boulder, Colorado. Ramsey's body was recovered in the house's basement, accompanied with a ransom note, 7 hours after she went missing. According to the autopsy report, her death was a homicide due to asphyxia by strangulation associated with craniocerebral trauma. Police initially assumed the pageant queen's parents, John and Patsy Ramsey, were to blame for her death. However, there was not enough evidence to charge them with any crimes. In 2008, they were entirely exonerated as suspects. Police also proposed that the death was done by an intruder who broke into the family's home. In 2003, DNA from an unidentified male was discovered on Ramsey's clothes. Ramsey's killer has never been caught, and her killing has inspired countless podcasts, documentaries, movies, and TV dramas. People all over the world are still trying to figure out how this could have happened to such a little girl. John Mark Carr admitted to killing Ramsey in an email in 2006, but no proof linking Carr to the crime was found. Carr was never charged with anything. Her death is still classified as a cold case and is being investigated by the Boulder Police Department in Colorado. On December 18, 1996, a woman known as the Christmas Tree Lady was discovered dead on a plastic sheet at the Pleasant Valley Memorial Park Cemetery in Annandale, Virginia. She had been missing for around 60 years and had never been identified. Police recovered a Christmas tree, a tape player, and a message signed Jane Doe that stated, "Deceased by own hand, prefer no autopsy." The note also asked that she be cremated and offered money to cover the expenses. Her death was ruled asphyxiation, and the detectives believed she committed suicide. However, no one came forward to identify Jane Doe for nearly 2 decades, and the reason for her death remains unexplained. DNA and genealogy studies led to the identification of the Christmas Tree Lady earlier this year. Joyce Marilyn Myers Somers was born in Davenport, Iowa. According to DNAsolves.com, she was the oldest of 5 siblings. Meyer had not been reported missing and had no family in the region at the time of her death. Relatives had engaged a private investigator to find her, but had no luck. It took more than 2 decades to discover what had happened to Ed and Minnie Maurin, an elderly couple. The couple's bodies were discovered in the woods on Christmas Eve, 1985, after they were shot in the head near their house in Ethel, Washington. It wasn't until 2012 that their family received justice, after witnesses came forward with proof, but the couple's untimely death had authorities stumped for years. An inquiry in the 2010s revealed that the Maurins were kidnapped by Rick Rife and John Gregory, local drug dealers who forced them to withdraw $8,500 in cash. After that, they were transported to the woods and shot in their car. Unfortunately, witnesses remained silent for fear of retaliation from the men. Years later, witnesses who had seen Rick and John Gregory driving the Maurins' automobile chose them from a lineup. John Gregory died before he could be apprehended, but Rick Rife was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of first-degree robbery, and 1 act of first-degree burglary. He was convicted and sentenced to 103 years in jail after being proven guilty.